Major Garrett now joins me from the White House to discuss, and again, Major, jobs and business, the first orders of business on this first full business day in the White House for the president. What'd you make of it?
Well, let's just talk for a moment, Josh, about the choreography of this. The White House allowed reporters to come in, shoot many of the corporate executives there representing Ford, Dell, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, other major American corporations. And we all saw them in there. That's unusual. The Obama administration did not provide us that kind of access. To see the business executives mingling among themselves, then shaking hands with the president as he came in. Usually, we come in when everyone's seated and it's very formal. That choreography tells me a couple of things. One, the business executives are comfortable being seen at this White House with this president, and this president wants Americans to know he's comfortable sitting down with them. And when he said we're going to meet quarterly at the White House, he's suggesting that this topic, how to make more jobs in the United States, some of the manufacturing jobs, is going to be a consistent and persistent goal of his administration. And then they all talked about ways to accomplish that. Massive tax cuts, not only on the corporate rate, which is at 39.1% if you take the federal rate of 35%, add it to various state corporate tax rates, cut it down to 15%, then reduce taxes on personal income tax in this country, and he said later, reduce regulations at the federal level by 75%, while he said maintaining all of the existing protections for health, safety, and the environment. As he often says, we'll see what happens on that front. And then, near the end, it wasn't a scolding, but it was a reminder of his campaign message, the one that, as he said, put him in the White House to begin with. If you are an American corporation and you leave and go to another country, he promised we will impose a border tax on all of your incoming products. So he said, don't leave. If you stay, compete with the other 50 governors, get whatever tax breaks and incentives you can negotiate, but stay in America. That was the sum total of his very pro-business. The White House is open to help you promise to big business executives, and that had happened first, and we saw all this elaborate choreography. Tells me the symbolism of this White House is big business has a seat at the table constantly under a Trump presidency.
And with regard to that border tax, Major, he said this, and I quote, "Some people say that's not free trade, but we don't have free trade now," end quote. If nothing else, how much support would this have in Congress?
It's hard to know. It would depend on what the tax rate is, how it would be collected, and if it is used only as a way to deter the movement of jobs out of the United States, many in Congress might go for it. What I will tell you about that is the Trump White House and those closest to the president believe if members of Congress are wobbly on this, there are two mechanisms President Trump intends to use and use rapidly to get the votes if there's any blockages on Capitol Hill. One, his Twitter account. The other is rallies in various congressional districts or selected states if Democrats or Republicans get hesitant or obstructionist on this point. The president's made it clear he wants a border tax for companies that leave. His whole idea is if you don't leave in the first place, we don't have to worry about it. But Congress is going to get this issue put right in its lap very soon, I suspect, and then the real fun will begin.
And indeed it will, if it didn't already today, as with the choreography, as you did mention. Major Garrett here at the White House, as always, we do appreciate it.
Sure.